Let's talk about something that doesn't sparkle or shout. It doesn't ride into battle or hang on a flagpole, but it has saved many more lives than any musket ever could. We're talking about stockades, the tall wooden walls that help protect the colonies when danger came close. Now, when you picture a fort from the Revolution, maybe you imagine a giant stone wall, huge gates, and deep moats like a castle. But out on the edge of the frontier, most people didn't have fancy supplies. They had forests, axes, shovels, and determination. So they built stockades, walls made of trees. Here's how it worked. First, someone had to find the right trees, tall, straight, and strong. Then they would chop them down, strip off the bark, sharpen the tops, kind of like giant pencils. Next came digging. And let me tell you, digging a trench long enough for a whole wall, that is no small job, but they did it. One log at a time, men and boys lifted them upright into the trench. They packed in the dirt, stomped it down, and sometimes even added big stones or crossbeams to make sure those walls wouldn't budge. Some stockades had even more upgrades, like watchtowers, where someone could climb up to look for danger. Or little cutouts called gun slits, where a musket could poke through, ready to fire, while the person inside stayed safe. But why go through all that hard work? Because back in 1775, life in the colonies wasn't calm. The British Army was marching. Loyalists were causing trouble. Some Native American tribes had chosen sides in the war too. Out on the frontier, there were no big cities or armies nearby. Families had to protect themselves. And for many towns and settlements, stockades became that protection. A stockade could keep enemy soldiers out, protect women and children, shelter livestock like cows and chickens, and most of all, it gave them peace of mind. Want to know where stockades really made a difference? Let's look at Boonesborough, Kentucky. That's where Daniel Boone and his men built a stockade with their own hands. And when danger came, that wall of logs helped the whole settlement survive. Or how about Fort Stanwix in New York? It was surrounded by thick wooden walls and earth piled high. In 1777, it stood strong during a British siege and became a symbol of what determined people can do when they refuse to back down. Now, I won't tell you these wooden walls were always beautiful. They weren't fancy. They weren't built to be fancy. But they worked. And in times of danger, working was what mattered. Because a stockade wasn't just wood. It was willpower. It was teamwork. It was everyday people saying, "We might not have gold or cannon, but we're not going anywhere." So the next time you see a tall wooden fence, think of the people who built something like it, not to keep pets in, but to keep freedom alive. From far away, a stockade might look like just a bunch of trees, but up close, it's a wall made of courage.